What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Let's get the week of wrestling started here today. We are going to be chatting about NXT, and boy, was it a show tonight. I actually thought that aside from the first show that they had on NXT on Tuesday since their premiere, I thought that this was by far one of the best shows that they've had since then, and I can't wait to talk about it here today. But before we get started, I want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome. I'm already seeing you guys blow up the chat. If you're an audio listener, thank you so much for tuning in as well. What did you guys think of the show today overall as a whole? Let's kind of kick it off there, and then we're going to run through the show chronologically. I'm going to share my thoughts, opinions, etc. But as we go through everything, I do want to make sure that you guys are commenting in the chat. You guys are sending in your thoughts because this is an interactive stream, so I will be reading what you, the people, have to say about all of this. Now, also, for those of you who are wondering what on earth happened to all of Denise's action figures and mask. If you missed my Friday night SmackDown stream, then you probably didn't hear that I have officially moved into my apartment, my very first own apartment ever, which means I'm actually paying rent, ladies and gentlemen, and it is expensive, especially here in Southern California. But here we are. The new place has not been spruced up, guys, so I'm sorry for the very dull, boring wall behind me. But we're going to kick things off with our first super chat from Sam Pie Boone. Thank you so much to Sam, who sends in a super chat and says, who do you want to win tomorrow night in the Blood and Guts match, the Pinnacle or the Inner Circle? Sam, I thank you so much for bringing in the super chat, especially because tomorrow is Blood and Guts, and I am so balls out of my mind, excited for Blood and Guts. I'm excited to see what they're going to do based on the little graphic that they put promoting this match and what we got to see from the actual structure. I'm excited to see what it's actually going to look like once it's like the actual event. I was listening to Jericho's interview with Brian and Dave here on Wrestling Observer Radio, and he was talking about the structure, and I got so excited because he kind of made it seem like there's going to be some differences. So I'm looking forward to seeing what those differences are actually going to be. And then I might as well promote this now. I got to chat with my favorite tag team. You guys all know it, Santana and Ortiz. I chatted with them. I have an interview with them up on my channel where we talk about Blood and Guts. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. So thank you so much to Sam. But let's go ahead and continue on with NXT. And this is what we are here to talk about. So let's see what you guys all thought of the show. Brandon Rosen says, the main event was awesome. Anyone who says women's wrestling doesn't draw money doesn't watch NXT. Dude, and it's been... that was like a whole thing, right? Like the whole women don't draw money, et cetera, et cetera. All of those comments were, not those comments, but basically Mickie James said that this was something that she was told, right? And to me, it's like, what the hell? Like, based on everything we see, people like to talk about women's wrestling. People are excited about women's wrestling when, they're actually doing something with it. Look at how excited people were for Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, how people were excited for Charlotte and Asuka. Like, this isn't just on NXT. Around the board, look at how excited people were for Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker. I mean, there are so many examples of people being excited for women's wrestling. But to add to Brandon's point, hell yeah, tonight's main event was awesome. And this is considering that I wasn't even looking forward to this match. I'll be real with you guys. We've seen these two teams go at it before, and I wasn't looking forward to this match. However, I was so into it by like the end. I was like, oh man, like, just really like getting really excited about the show. I think that overall NXT really did start the show off great and ended the show off great. We have another super chat from Gary DePriel Jr. Thank you so much to Gary, who says, NXT delivered, Ciampa is awesome. So I put out a tweet because I started thinking to myself, who are some of the dream matches that I have for Tommaso Ciampa, right? And then I started thinking, who am I kidding? I want to see Tommaso Ciampa versus every single living, breathing wrestler on the planet because he is that badass. But seriously, though, There were probably 2 matches that I did not like tonight from NXT, but for the most part, solid wrestling across the board with a lot of variations and different styles. So I can't wait to jump into all of that. So thank you again for the super chat. And I'm going to read some more comments before we get to everything. So this one is from Pomi, who says, the main event, Swerve versus Ruff, Ciampa and Thatcher and Grizzled Young Veterans were great. Only negative is Swerve winning with interference. We'll talk about that once we actually get to that match there. And I'm going to go through some more of your comments. This one's from Jake, who says, this was a great wrestling show. Back to what NXT has always done best. I'm glad the Wednesday Night War is over. Both are thriving. So this is where we have to get into this, because obviously ever since they made the move back on over to Tuesdays, but this time on the USA Network, it really has made a difference. It has made a difference in just the fact that people are being more positive about NXT. For the longest time, when I was covering both AEW Dynamite and NXT on the same night, a lot of people would kind of get upset at me because I didn't give NXT as much time. But a lot of the reason for that was they didn't give me as much to talk about. People would say you need to give more time to NXT, but I'm like, bro, I already gave all my opinions on NXT. And then not only that, there was like this horrible trend amongst the viewers where people would be very into the AEW conversation, but then they wouldn't stick around for the NXT conversation and people would bounce. And so now I'm seeing a difference in now that I'm doing, separate shows on different days, and the people that want to hear about NXT are here to hear about NXT, and for the most part are enjoying what is being put forth on the product. And all right, guys, so let's go ahead and kick things off with the opening match, because I'll start off by saying this much. Leon Ruff versus Isiah Swerve Scott in a Falls Count Anywhere match was probably my favorite match on NXT television in quite some time. And I know there have been some really good ones, and I'm probably missing some very obvious recent ones, but as of right now, off the top of my head, this match here killed it. So I just want to start off by saying that I was on the Leon Ruff train before a lot of people were. I know a lot of people in the beginning when he came and he won the NXT North American Championship and defeated Johnny Gargano, a lot of people were like, oh, like, why the hell did that happen? No, you know what? I was feeling it, guys. I was feeling it. And I kept telling people, like, look, Leon Ruff is good. Leon Ruff is good. And I really only knew his work based on what we saw off of NXT. But even just those little glimpses that we saw of him, I was very impressed by him. And throughout the weeks, I kept seeing more of that. And I started thinking to myself, people in the internet wrestling community are not talking enough about Leon Ruff. So now I'm happy because I get to tell everybody, I told you so. Leon Ruff is awesome. But seriously, though, this match was fantastic because there was a lot of really good moments in this match. They went out there and they gave it their all. So one of the things that I tweeted right before this match started was the fact that Isiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff were 2 guys that I think have really benefited from NXT being on Tuesdays and not on Wednesday, because they've been getting more time to tell a story, more time to show who they are, more time just in general for the people to really kind of get behind them, see what they can do. Like I was not the biggest Isiah Swerve Scott fan. I just thought he was just generic. I didn't really think anything of him. But lately, the past couple of weeks, I'm like, man, what was I not seeing? I clearly was missing something because, man, he is such an incredible talent. And I'm seeing that unfold. And in today's match, I thought this is the place where these 2 guys, this is the match where both of these guys have a chance to really establish themselves on the NXT roster, really give themselves an actual name on the NXT roster. And I think that after this match, they did just that, because let's go over some of the main things that we saw, because holy moly, this was a good way for them to get some credibility underneath that bout. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pointing out some of the awesome spots because, man, it was crazy. So for the beginning of this match, Isiah Swerve Scott was really the one that was getting the best of Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff was really the underdog in this match. He had some moments where you thought, oh, he might make it. He might win, right? He was the perfect underdog. That's the thing. He was the perfect underdog in the story of this match, but Isiah Swerve Scott basically made it really, really hard for him to basically get one over on him. And he was the perfect counterbalance to Leon Ruff. So there was a moment where we saw Leon go for a dive and Scott just grabbed him and literally tossed him to the ring apron like he was a rag doll. Instantaneously, that clip was literally all over social media. Then, there was also a spot where, and this wasn't even like anything major, but it was this one little thing that we saw from Isiah Swerve Scott, which I thought was really great because he showed this very aggressive side to him. And I think that was one of the things that was lacking from him, was that we weren't seeing that much aggression from him in the past. And to me, this was a brand new Isiah Swerve Scott. Like, he really, really showed this meaner side of himself. He's kicking Leon Ruff, telling him to get up. And then out of nowhere, he throws a toolbox and misses his face by like a hair. I mean, it was insane. I thought that was a really cool spot. It wasn't like this big momentous thing, but I thought that it was pretty great. Then the other thing that I liked was, and we have to talk about this because holy, I popped for this so hard. And it was when Leon Ruff did that reverse Hurricane Rana from the apron to Isiah Swerve Scott. I legit popped. I was like, give me an instantaneous replay now. They replayed it like 3 times and I was so happy because that was such an awesome moment too. This really did feel though, and I know we get a lot of great action from NXT. We really do. But this match to me felt very different from what we're used to seeing from NXT. This felt fresh. This felt exciting. This felt like they really, really delivered here. And we also saw Leon Ruff hit Isiah Swerve Scott with the toolbox to the back of the knee. That was another good spot. Then at one point, towards the end of the match, we see Leon Ruff go on top of the platform by the stage, and he's about to do God knows what. But essentially, AJ Francis comes in and essentially stops him. And this ends up not being the greatest finish of them all, guys. I'm over all of the DQ finishes, distraction finishes, all of that. And I completely agree with anybody here who did not like the finish, because I did not like the finish whatsoever. However, I will say this. This match gave us a really nice tease, and I know we've seen this before, but it gave us a nice tease of what more these two guys can do, and I want to see this match again. So yeah, good stuff. Let's see what you guys all thought about it here. And let's see, what are you guys all saying in regards to this match? All right, I'm going to go through the rest of your comments. Okay. I keep seeing all of these people coming in here on this. All right, here we go. This one is from Joseph Bozo, who says, the wrestling in both NXT and the main roster is great. Sometimes it's creative. That is the issue. Oh, well, yeah, obviously. Definitely the creative. I agree with you on that one. And okay, here we go. This is from Pomi, who says he's not really interested in another wrestler bodyguard angle since we already have AJ and Omaz and Apollo and Aziz. Look, it wasn't something, I get where you're coming from with this. It's not necessarily something that completely throws me off, makes me lose my interest. I don't know how to say it. It doesn't bother me, I guess, but I see what you mean. Too many of this. I get it. And let's see what else you guys are saying here. I'm seeing a lot of nice comments. Thank you so much to James Young, who says he's just here for Denise Salcedo. I really, really appreciate it. This one is from Chris Cage 2X, who says, this would have done something for both competitors, but it made Leon Ruff look weak after the interference on Swerve's part. You know what? I feel like they've done worse with Leon Ruff. They really had. Like, everything after he lost the NXT North American Championship was really bad. Like, they made him look really silly and kind of like a loser, like a geek, like a dork, all of that. You could think of all of those words, right? But I actually would say that given what they've done with him in the past, this was nowhere near that. It wasn't near that. I actually thought that this was good. For me, it did not hurt Leon Ruff too, because he did so well in this match. Like, he was so impressive that it kind of, really defeated the end result. So again, I don't say this about every single match, but I'm going to go ahead and say it for this match here. All right, so overall good stuff here. This one's from Joseph, who says, it made both guys look really bad and left a bitter taste in my mouth for a fun hardcore falls count anywhere. Okay, so it seems like people are totally opposite here of what I thought. Okay, so I'm seeing everybody here just was not a fan of that ending. Stephen Kramer says, we just need to accept distraction finishes are in WWE's playbook. See, and I think that sometimes I could let it slide. Today I let it slide. Usually I don't let it slide. Today I did, but clearly not everybody is having it with this at all. Okay, here we go. This one's from Kieran, who says, how can you look weak if you're attacked by someone unexpected? Yeah, it's their go-to as well. Look, I get it. I 100% get everybody's beef with the finish. Again, they shouldn't have done this finish, but what can you do? I'm just going to take it for what it was, and it was a good match. So I'm going to leave it at that there. And this is a comment from the Joseph, who says, I like Swerve leading a faction, so I don't mind. That's true. Again, this is something that we wouldn't have really seen if NXT was still on Wednesdays. The fact that they're actually giving Swerve something other than just, a match here and there, they're actually giving them something a little bit more. So I actually agree with this too. Dom G says, new month, new random distraction finish. Oh, we're going to keep seeing it. We're going to keep seeing it continuously. And Jake Larson says, I seem to let it slide more in no DQ matches. It's not like it was a regular singles match. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Either way, look. Yes, the finish was trash. The finish was not the best. The finish took away a lot from a really spectacular match, but at the same time, it was a spectacular match. So if you did not watch NXT and you're like, oh, I'm just here for the review, I would suggest going out of your way to watch this match. I would say it's that good for you to go out of your way and watch it. And we don't say that all the time. All right. So after this, we had a really funny segment in the way essentially is trying to meet with William Regal, but William Regal is in a meeting with Scarlett. And I actually thought this was funny. And you guys know that the way isn't always a hit with me. Sometimes the jokes just seem too corny, too cheesy. And this was nothing different. This was a corny, cheesy joke, but for some reason, I cackled, I laughed. So basically, the way first starts by accusing William Regal of essentially not being in a meeting because it's with Scarlett. So they're trying to make it seem like it's something else, something non-PG. And then Theory starts being like the airheady self that he always is. And he starts saying like, whoa, like those are big. And obviously they want the people to think that he's talking about Scarlett's features, and but we all know that it's going to be a swerve and be something else. So in the end, it ends up being that he's talking about her nails because they're like super long, super huge, whatever. But I actually thought it was funny because he starts touching them, and Johnny Gargano's like, "You don't touch people. You don't touch people. What's wrong with you?" Look, that was cheesy and corny, but it got over with me. I laughed at this. All right, let's go ahead and move on. After this, we had, okay, here we go. After this, we had another pretty good match, and this one was Asher Hale versus Cameron Grimes. So Asher Hale is Anthony Henry, who recently signed with WWE in January of this year. However, I'll tell you guys this much. In terms of Anthony Henry, I really did not know much of anything about him heading into this. Like, I had to actually really Google a little bit about him before coming on to the show because I didn't know anything about him. But I'll tell you this much, though. Asher Hale, he did a great job. I thought that this was a really solid match. He made for a perfect opponent for Cameron Grimes, where he was actually good in the ring and he didn't just look like a jobber. No, he looked good and made it for an actual like short but fun match with him and Cameron Grimes, and that is so good. I thought he was a good opponent for Cameron Grimes to actually defeat, to give Cameron Grimes a win that, obviously it's not a win that means a whole lot, but it means a little something. It wasn't like he was just beating like some random geek. So I did like Asher Hale as his opponent for this, but overall, solid, good match, good win for Cameron Grimes. Other than this, I did kind of search up a little bit about Asher Hale. Wrestled and Evolved, wrestled in World Wrestling Network, Full Impact Pro, and again signed with WWE in January. This is a comment from Steven Creamer who says, fun TV match. Not every match should be 5 stars. Again, it's not, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be a blowaway match. Just give me something that isn't going to make me fall the hell asleep. Mad Mark says, the sound is much better today, BTW. Mad Mark, you have no idea how stressed out I was about this. So for those of you guys who do not know, like on my Raw podcast, I had no furniture in this room. So it was hollow. Immediately after Raw, I went to Walmart and bought 2 rugs, bought a bean bag, put up a bunch of stuff in this room and really just kind of contain the sound a little bit more. It's going to get better too because I bought some acoustic panels for the walls. So as soon as Amazon ships those to me, those are going up and the audio's just going to get way better. So good stuff there. But thank you so much for everybody who's interacting here on the channel. BTW, if you're watching the stream, don't be shy. Go ahead and send in a comment. The more you guys send, the more you guys write in, the merrier the streams are, the more interaction we've got, the more opinion we get. We don't all have to, you all know, I don't mind a little controversy. Play the devil's advocate, send it in. All right. Oh, guys, we have a super chat. Thank you so much to Flamethrower Fluff Salisbury. Salisbury? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Ooh. All right. Flamethrower says, I want to see Cameron Grimes try to buy Breezangle spacesuit so he can go to the moon. Did Cameron Grimes, oh my God. By the way, I was so happy, and I might as well talk about this now. I was so happy to see that they did another Ted DiBiase segment because I wasn't sure if they were going to do another one. I mean, obviously, might as well, tape a few, whatever. I liked it. Thought it was funny. They're just these quick little ways to just, keep adding to his character. And in the end, when he can't get into this club or whatever, wherever he's going to, because Ted DiBiase ends up buying the place, they pan out all the way out in a drone camera or something, and you just see him wailing his arms and he's so pissed off. Oh, I love it. I just love to see Cameron Grimes lose his shit. I am all here for that. Thank you so much to Flamethrower for sending in this super chat. And we have a comment from Amanda Rodriguez who says, love me some Cameron Grimes, hashtag to the moon. And the freaking song too, his theme song, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, it just makes me laugh a lot. Gets me in a whole different mood. All right, guys, let's move on. So after this, we had Grizzled Young Veterans versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. So, all right. This match ended up blowing my socks off. I ended up loving this match so much more. And I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. I have an issue or something because for some reason, and this is a me problem, okay? So let's let it be known that this is a me problem. For some reason, I always forget that I like Grizzled Young Veterans matches. I don't know what it is. I always forget that I like their matches. But for some reason, every time I see them announced, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to really be into this match. I'm not going to really be into it. But then they have the match and I'm like, oh, I freaking love the Grizzled Young Veterans and I'm a fan and this and that. And then the next week they'll announce a match and I'll be like, I'm not really interested. And then I'll be like, oh, what am I kidding? I'm a fan of the Grizzled Young Veterans. For some reason, I always forget that I am a fan. With that being said, when this match started, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to give it a chance, whatever. But I ended up loving this match. There was a lot that was done that I was a fan of. And, all right, so right at the top, they come out, they trash the United States, they trash the fans, they trash Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. I like that they gave them some mic time right before the match. Wasn't much, but it was just enough, so I like that. Right at the top, we see Thatcher working on Zach Gibson's arm and then giving him knee kicks to the spine, which always look brutal. fan of that. Both Ciampa and Thatcher, oh my God, punched the hell out of both of these guys at the exact same time and just like getting in there, guys. Like they get in there, get them on the chest, just a bunch of shots to the chest. And then they end up cutting to commercial break after this. But I love the teamwork again from both of these guys. Once we came back and Ciampa ended up getting the hot tag. My God, I can't talk. I'm breaking down. Ciampa came in, got the hot tag, and literally was running wild in this match. And it felt different from everything else that we had seen up until this point. You know, we saw Leon Ruff and Isiah Swerve Scott, which were going out there and doing all of these crazy spots. We had a nice solid match between Asher Hale and Cameron Grimes. And then we had this very like fun technical match, hard hitting match with Grizzled Young Veterans and Ciampa and Thatcher. So it was very, very different in terms of everything that we had been seeing earlier on in the show. There was also a portion where we saw Ciampa chop the hell out of Drake. Thatcher and Gibson go at it. Gibson does a bunch of uppercuts. Thatcher works the arm again, and it is just literally hard-hitting action just nonstop throughout this match. Thatcher hits Gibson with a shoe and makes him tap out to the arm bar, which in turn worked out with the story that we saw him working on the arm from the very beginning. So overall, this was a simple but fun tag team match. Kieran Crossley says, has anyone found Wade's shoe? I don't know. I do not know. And let's see what else you guys are saying here. And Sean Harrington points out that he thinks that the Grizzled Young Veterans are really good. Oh, hell yeah. Like they are really, really good. It's just, I don't know why I keep forgetting that I like them. I don't know if that happens to people, but it sure as hell happens to me here. All right. So following this, we had this next segment, which I'm going to say right now, I was a fan of too, because, you know, like I said, there was really two segments that I did not like on today's NXT, just two that I did not like, and we will get there. This next one isn't it, because I was actually a fan of all of this. So we had Karrion Kross coming out, and he comes out and he basically says he's not afraid of everyone, that he wants to give the people what they want, which is a fight, and said he's not going to wait for anyone to come out and stab him in the back. So he's facing Theory next week. That was announced earlier on in the show. But then Cool Kyle O'Reilly comes out, and for some reason, guys, I know we had the introduction to Cool Kyle O'Reilly at the start, but it doesn't feel authentic to Kyle O'Reilly. Like this gimmick, this persona, it doesn't really match him. And I don't know if you guys feel differently about this. If you do, send it in the comment section here. But I can't buy this Cool Kyle O'Reilly character right now. It feels very, very forced. It doesn't feel authentically him. So as of this moment, I am not interested in this Cool Kyle O'Reilly situation. But he just basically says that he senses the hostility from Karrion Kross and wants to tell him to his face that he is not afraid of him and that he wants a match against him. But then Pete Dunne comes out and he says that he doesn't care about Karrion Kross. He doesn't care about Kyle O'Reilly, because the truth is that he is the baddest man on NXT. And you know what? Pete Dunne feels authentically true. When he says that he is the baddest man on NXT, I believe him. I buy it 150,000%, because it really, really clicks. I love this Pete Dunne. But then after this, we get Finn Balor, the return. This was already something that was promoted. We all knew Finn Balor at some point was going to come out, and I'm actually glad that they did it this way instead of him just coming out straight and doing a promo straight to the camera. I like the fact that they actually had him coming out during this segment, because he comes out, he says, Pete Dunne, been there, done that. Kyle O'Reilly, been there, done that. And then he just straight up punches Kross in the face. And then both Balor and Kross go at it until the security tries to pull them apart. They come back together. They fight again. Security finally keeps them apart. And I actually thought that Kross looked stronger in this than Finn Balor, which I liked, because Kross is your champion. So I like that he kind of got one over sort of on Finn Balor here. Kross even suplexes the security. He's pissed, but as he's doing all of this, he's mad. From behind, Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano attack Karrion Kross. And this is why I like this segment. So the reason why I liked it was because Karrion Kross is your NXT champion. Your NXT champion is the highest point on the roster. He's the top guy on the roster. So why the hell not? Shouldn't everybody be going after him? Everybody should have their eyes, their goals, their desires set on being NXT champion. So the fact that Kross has this big target on his back with all these guys trying to get at him. Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, Finn Balor, and then he has Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano behind him, attacking him. I like this. This is how it should be. Sometimes I feel like, on other brands, we see the champion and they don't always have all of these challengers lining up, waiting for their opportunity. But on NXT, we have that. And that is why I was a fan of this segment. But let's see what you guys all thought here. We have a super chat from Matt Logan who says, Denise, I love the Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne segment. Dude, me too. Thank you so much to Matt Logan for sending in the super chat. I really, really appreciate the love and the support and you tuning in to watch. All right. Jug Delaney says, bring back Sleazy Kyle from PWG. And oh man, I really miss PWG, guys. I haven't gone, well, obviously, in forever because of the pandemic, but I hope to be back at PWG sometime in the near future. All right, but we're not talking about that right now. Let's see what else we got here. We have a comment from Eric Shun who says, I've been really underwhelmed with Kross. He's just not on the same level as Balor. Look, and that's the thing. I like Karrion Kross. He has everything. He has the look. He has the star power. He has a unique character. I love the whole packaging with him and Scarlett. I'm a fan of that. I know some people probably aren't, but I am. I love the whole big theatrical type of entrance and all of that. I love it. But I will have to say, when it comes to the in-ring work, yeah, Finn Balor is obviously on another level. And even when Kross became champion, I was taken aback by it. I really didn't think that they were going to have Finn Balor lose. And I'm open though, because I see he might not be able to have the type of in-ring matches that Finn Balor has, but I do think he has a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things about him that could make him an interesting champion. Now we just got to get these challenges going. We got to start seeing these matches. And based on what we've seen so far, it's not too bad. So, but I do see your concern about this comment here. And let's see what else we have here. I think I missed some. Oh, yeah, here we go. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Mad Mark. Mad Mark says, put this towards the new fringe fund, excuse me. LA is the only place I know that renters have to buy fridges. Wow. It's so fun fact about LA. So I went to a bunch of apartments where they were giving me the fridge and the fridge was there. But unfortunately, the fridges were like old as heck. And I didn't want to use somebody else's old as heck fridge. So I was kind of blown away at the fact, because my whole entire life, I've always bought my own fridge. I've never had like a fridge from like another person in the house. So it kind of really threw me off. So you left me this comment. I didn't know that it was a thing. I actually have only ever known buying fridges. All right. This is not a refrigerator podcast, but now we all know Denise Salcedo's thoughts on fridges. But Mad Mark, I really appreciate the super chat. Seriously, thank you so much for sending that in. All right, we have some more comments on all of this. This one is from Sean Harrington, who says, Pete Dunne isn't a gatekeeper. Dunne is a strong contender for the NXT title, and I think Kross needs talent like Pete to help him work better. 150% agree with this. Pete Dunne versus Kross, Yes, he does need to work with people that can help him have these great matches. With Finn Balor, obviously, it was the opposite. He can have a match with anybody and really make it work. But it will be the opposite with Kross than it was with Finn Balor. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to see more of your comments. Guys, if you have a brilliant comment and I missed it, Feel free to send it again because sometimes I see a couple of these I miss a couple of these as we go through. This one is from Brandon, who says, Cross is better suited as a monster that can destroy his opponents. Yes, he is more suited in that direction. I do agree with that. But again, I do want to see his range. I do want to see what he can do. And given the fact that you have people like Kyle O'Reilly that he can have matches with, like Pete Dunne, I'm not completely counting out him having these really spectacular blowout matches, because the competitors that could help him get to those type of level matches are there. They are available. This isn't like he doesn't have any potential challengers. He has them. Now it's just more of, them really utilizing them. And they really do have a lot of options. And okay, I'm going to go through some more comments here. This one is from Steven, who says that Walter is the best champion in wrestling at the moment, even more so than Reigns or Omega. I love Walter, but I think, I don't know. My favorite champion was Finn Balor. Now, I think it's actually Roman Reigns. I don't know. I feel Roman Reigns for the moment, just because I have been liking all of the matches that Roman Reigns has been having. So I'm going to go with, at the moment, my favorite champion is Roman Reigns. And all right. This is another comment about Walter. This is from Elijah, who says, is it just me or anyone want to see more of Walter on NXT? My good friend Elijah, it is not just you. It is all of us. And I want to see more Walter on NXT. We got to see him today on video, but not necessarily in person. And this is a comment from, hold on. I lost the comment that I wanted to read. All right, this one was from Lars Janice, who says Cross feels more like a Raw champion. Oh, Cross would be fantastic on the main roster. Fantastic. He is perfectly suited for the main roster. Him versus Drew McIntyre, or them doing a whole storyline together, I think would be fantastic. We have another super chat from Matt Logan. Guys, thank you so much for all the super chats. This one's from Matt, who says, the ladies killed it tonight. Great to see women who never had that type of match before really go all out. We haven't even gotten to that. I'm excited to talk about that today. Like, one of the things that I mentioned at the top of the show, and I'll mention it again, was I wasn't looking forward to this match because we'd seen it. Not in a street fight, but we'd still seen it. But they blew me away. And we'll get into it more in depth once we get to that portion of the show. But thank you so much to Matt Logan for shouting out the women, which BTW, if you put more women's wrestling out there, give the women an actual storyline, take them seriously, let them have serious storylines, they can make money. Come on. All right. Thank you. That was my TED Talk. Thank you so much to Matt Logan for sending in this super chat. We have another super, guys. Oh my God. This one's from Brandon Charles Powell, who sends in a super chat and says, dream match, Walter versus Roman versus Omega. Brandon, you know when they say don't dream too big? You're dreaming too big. Walter versus Roman Reigns versus Omega is too big of a dream. You got to get some shooting stars on this. You got to get I don't know, man. You got to make a wish 11-11 all the time. Got to do everything to ever make this happen. He also says, I know I shouldn't tease such an idea, but it's a nice dream. Oh, no, Brandon. It is more than just a nice dream. I don't even know what to call that. But thank you so much to Brandon for always being an amazing super chatter. This is a comment question from Blishu Deca, who says, who's your favorite NXT superstar? All right. In terms of someone that I love all of their matches and everything that they do, besides the obvious. So besides the obvious being Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, besides those people, I would go with Kushida, who it probably wouldn't be an obvious pick, but should be an obvious pick. And with somebody that isn't necessarily being pushed at the moment, and I'm going to get into this later on because I kind of have a little rant to go about this, but I would say that in somebody that I think could be at a certain level, if they gave them the proper opportunity, it would be Jake Atlas. But I kind of answered your question in numerous ways. But Reductive 92 says, not in this timeline. Sad hours. Oh, man, that super chat just depressed all of us. Because now we all fantasy booked this whole match here. All right, guys, let's move on. So, anyways, good stuff with the Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, and everybody and their mother segment because that was pretty good. I like that they're trying out a lot of different stuff now on NXT because, again, prior to this, NXT felt very formulaic and felt like you could predict the whole show. Now I don't feel that way. So after this, we had a match between Zeta Ramir versus LaRae. Friendly reminder that Zeta beat Toni Storm last week. So I actually thought that it made sense for her to have this match against LaRae, who, just made her debut last week on NXT and also had a very impressive debut. As for this match, this was actually the second weakest match of the night for me, just because, again, there was a lot of really good stuff on today's show. But it wasn't the weakest match of the night, but it was the second weakest in my opinion. But it was still a pretty okay match. Like the fact that we're getting this consistency with both Zeta and Saray, who again are new faces. But nothing much here. Saray won. All right. Oh man, that sounded so dull. Nothing here. Saray won. Let's move on. All right. So after this, we had Jake Atlas versus LA Knight. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I feel the need to go off. So I'm always nice on this stream. I'm always kind to everybody. But this time I got to get a little sassy here because I do not understand why the hell we couldn't see Jake Atlas, and I get it, okay? I get it. LA Knight is great on the mic. LA Knight is new. LA Knight just came into the roster. I get all of that. I get it. But Jake Atlas was somebody that for a while was continuously having these phenomenal matches on NXT with just about everybody that he was in the ring with. And it kept annoying me then when they kept making it seem like commentary kept saying like, oh, this new guy, yeah, he's so talented and look at him go in the ring. And I'm like, dude, he's been there for like over a year now and you're still calling him a new guy? Give this guy a story. Let this guy show personality. Give him something because when he goes in the ring, he is fantastic. And you all know that he has that, a gymnastics cheerleading background. He can do cool stuff, okay? So automatically that's impressive, right? But then he also has the whole wrestling side of things that is very impressive. And then he has a personality, but probably a lot of you guys who haven't seen Jake Atlas work probably wouldn't know this just by watching what he has done on NXT. I'm not kidding you. I've worked shows with this guy. I've been the ring announcer at a couple of the events that he's wrestled in. And I will tell you that the reaction that he gets from live event crowds at these indie shows, it is insane. People love the guy. Like he legit has a larger than life persona that we are not seeing on NXT. And that is why I was upset. No offense, but LA Knight's debut into NXT hasn't been anything great. It hasn't been anything like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this guy. And I like the guy, but it hasn't been anything major. I think he lost his second match or something. I remember talking about that, but Jake Atlas is literally 26 years old. 26, young guy. What are we always talking about? The fact that we need young talent to get over. Jake Atlas is one of those talents, but we have not seen him wrestle on NXT in a month. I checked. It had been a month. He had been wrestling on 205 Live. We had not seen him on NXT in about a month. Prior to that, they weren't giving him any sort of story, nothing, nada, zilch. And then you get this match, and this match was not even good. This was not a good match. It was nothing special. It was the weakest match of the night, and you just had Jake Atlas lose. I'm sorry, but for me, I just see way more upside in pushing a guy like Jake Atlas, and I do not get why they're not doing more with Jake Atlas. Like, I'm sorry, feeling very passionate about this, but also we really do need to push, and I don't want to, we need to push more Mexicans too, especially when they have all the talent and persona and charisma in the world and they're young and they're hungry and ready to go. Oh God, guys, again, I don't like to be so negative, but damn, I kind of had to just go there because Jake Atlas is cool as hell. Give him something, man. All right, that was my rant. I don't know if it was a great rant or whatever, but it was from the heart. All right. Let's see what we have here. This one's from Joseph. It says, Denise knows what she's talking about with Jake. She has probably announced some or most of his indie shows. Yeah. I've not all of them, obviously, but a few. As you guys know, he's from this area, guys. Like literally, he's from this area. Wrestled all of like the indies here. Interviewed him when he was getting offers from both AEW and WWE. Got to chat with him there. You can see that on my channel. So it's like, yeah, I know. I really do know that. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of the rest of your comments here. And we'll get to the Toni Storm promo since I saw somebody else brought it up here. And yeah, for the most part, I don't think anybody here really disagrees with what I had to say. But share your thoughts. If you're watching this on the replay, listening to this on the audio version. Yes, for those of you guys who are wondering, Jake Atlas is Mexican, of Mexican descent. So yes. And yeah, someone asked, I didn't know Denise did ring announcing. That's what's up. Oh, yeah, English and Spanish ring announcing, my friend. Two totally different animals. But I did do a lot of ring announcing here in the SoCal independent wrestling scene. My goal was actually to ring announce for PWG. That's been my goal for like a while here, like in my ring announcing goals. That was one of my goals. Maybe someday when the world opens up again and I go maybe get a shot. We don't know. Whatever. But the point is, push Jake Atlas. Damn. Reductive 82 said, Denise said, no tea, no shade, but thank you. Congratulations. He says, you're the winner of this week's challenge, but jokes aside, I agree with you. Yeah, guys, like seriously, there's really no reason not to push the guy. Really, no reason. All right, let's move on. Let me try to get rid of some of the tension, some of the anger that I pulled out. All right, after this, we had the Toni Storm promo, which someone just mentioned was good. Matt Logan says, Toni time was fire. Yes. Toni Storm, I mean, dang, she was one of the big heavy topics that we were talking about last week after her loss, which was very surprising. But she had this great promo today. She comes out, says Zoe is a nobody, says that she brought her into this business and that she's ready to take her out anytime. I'm here. I love this. Give my girl Toni some promo time. Give her something because that girl is a star. I am ready. I am aching to root for her. I'm ready to root for her. We also had another promo from Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar basically says that the measure of a man is not what he can do for himself, but what he can do for his brothers. We now, next week, are getting, and this is going to be fire, Kushida versus Escobar for the Cruiserweight title in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And I, for one, am looking forward to that match 100%. So ready for it. We are also getting Raquel versus Mercedes Martinez next week for the title. And we are also seeing Karrion Kross versus Austin Theory. So already 3 matches announced for next week. 3 pretty good solid matches that I can't wait to see. So make sure to tune in next week, guys. BTW, before I continue on with the rest of the show, I do want to go ahead and get some quick plugs out of the way. So first and foremost, if you haven't already subscribed to F4W Online here on YouTube, make sure to go out of your way. Come over here, subscribe, click that subscribe button. Seriously, there's lots of videos on here, lots of stuff for you guys to see. But more importantly, I have 3 shows on this channel, 3 shows, NXT, AEW, and SmackDown. SmackDown last week was pretty noteworthy. We had a lot to talk about. That did a pretty good number of views. I was very excited to see that. And then AEW literally is like my hottest show of the week because people love to talk about AEW and it's so much fun and they give you lots to talk about. But more importantly, tomorrow is Blood and Guts. And guess what? I got to talk to Santana and Ortiz, my favorite tag team, legit. We chatted, guys, and it was a blast because, you know, it was just like friends having a conversation. We talked about them signing with AEW, working with Chris Jericho. We talk about soup. I mean, really, there's just a lot that goes on in that interview. It's a 30-minute interview. Please check it out, guys. I have been like struggling to get AEW interviews, so I really had to like pull out all of my wicked, tricks up my sleeve to try to get an interview, and I did. And so hopefully now that they saw what I can do, and hopefully now they give me some more. But who knows, guys? We'll see. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. All right. Also, one more interview I got to promote because I spoke to JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett. I chatted with him and we talked about his new podcast, which debuted today on adfreeshows.com, My Worlds with Jeff Jarrett. We talked about his podcast. We talked about his career in wrestling, and we talked about Taylor Swift baking cookies with his daughter. Great story. So make sure you guys check those out. Those are on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Let's continue on with NXT. All right. Okay, so after this, we had a side-by-side promo. We had a side-by-side interview of Raquel and Mercedes Martinez, where they both cut these awesome promos, actually. I like the fact I've always liked that they do these side-by-side interviews. We saw them a lot on SmackDown. I know they did them with Sasha and Carmella. Those were good. And they did them some more, but I was always a fan of these side-by-side interviews. I like them more. I actually think I like them more than the sit-down interviews. I definitely like them more than the contract signings. So I prefer this method. But overall, I thought that Raquel was sort of going to dominate this whole promo. I really, really did think she was going to dominate it. But I got to say, the person who impressed me the most here was Mercedes Martinez. She came out and even though Raquel said that she had, worked so hard to get to the spot that she's at now, Mercedes basically says that she's not intimidated by Raquel and says that Raquel has never been through the same roads that she has been through. She says she's the one who laid out the blueprint that that Raquel would eventually follow. So I like this. I like how Mercedes Martinez, they always, point out a lot of her, her background. They point out her flaws and all of this, but she's using it as a way. She's using it as a weapon. She's, reforming all of her, perceptions that people have of her, and she's transforming it into something that's beneficial for her. So I do like that from both from Mercedes. But Raquel was also really great. After Mercedes went on a tangent about everything that she had done, Raquel then basically says yeah, you set the bar, but the bar was really low. I'm the one who put the bar way up here. So I thought that was a really, really good line there too. Overall, I thought both ladies delivered in this, and I gotta say, right at the top, when I first realized that Mercedes Martinez was going to be Raquel's first challenger, you all know I wasn't that hot about it. I wasn't that crazy about it. And now the last several weeks, I've been feeling this more and more. And so I'm looking forward to this match next week, especially based off the last 2 weeks of them building up this feud. We have a comment from Justin Martin who says, Raquel showed some great confidence and swagger there. I loved her line about Mercedes setting the bar really low and she raised it so high so no one can reach it. Yeah, same. All right. This one is from Malik Leicester, who says that Mercedes Martinez is a really good first opponent for Raquel. Exactly. And she's there to help Raquel work. She's there to really help her get better. Mercedes Martinez is definitely, obviously, one of those women that can help some of the younger talent get to that next level. So good stuff there. And okay, let's see what else we have here. This one is from Pro Wrestling TV, who says Raquel is not a great promo. Obviously, just sounds like she's repeating memorized line, which is the case with most WWE promos. This was an okay segment, though. You know what? I got that from Raquel in the beginning of the promo, but afterwards, I think she fed off of Mercedes' energy because I saw a shift in her. I saw a shift in her, the way that she was delivering her lines. You can tell that she brought out a little bit more aggression. In the beginning, it did feel very rehearsed, very scripted. But then she managed to actually, add some emotion in there. And I think that was really the energy that she was feeding off of Mercedes Martinez. So overall, again, I do think that it was a good one there. Alrighty, here we go, guys. It is main event time, guys. Main event time. And this main event was they did a lot here. Here we go. A Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Indi Hartwell and Candice LaRae in a street fight for the tag team titles. And before this match, I think Shotzi and Ember got some bad luck because Frankie Monet's dog literally shit in Shotzi's tank. That was pretty funny. I mean, it was okay. It was funny. I think the reactions more so from Shotzi and Ember were pretty funny. And I feel like they've been showing more and more personality because even last week when they got those flowers from Dexter Loomis, Ember Moon's reaction and the way that they were feeding off of each other, I didn't realize that they had this like comedic side to them. So I was really happy to see a little bit more of that. We saw it last week and we saw it again this week. But again, I didn't really care about this match going into it. I didn't care, but damn, did they make me care. I was so into this match, like after, I don't know, maybe it took me like a couple minutes, but within a couple of minutes, I was invested because they started this match right away. They didn't even do announcements, which is great because you don't want to do that. You want to start up a street fight right away. They utilized the trash can like really from the top of this match. They started doing a bunch of, different spots with it. We saw Ember do a face buster on Indi on the 4 chairs that were set up from the outside. I thought that was a pretty cool spot. And I think from that moment was really when the match started picking up because then they just started doing a bunch of different stuff. Shotzi was going for a dive to the outside of the ring, but instead Candice uses her fire extinguisher to spray it in her face. Then we see a top rope senton from Shotzi to Candice while Candice was on the freaking ladder. That was a really sick spot, especially because the ladder actually snapped. Then we saw Candice do a moonsault on Shotzi while she's on the ladder. That was another great spot too. Then we saw Indi do a spine buster on Ember on the ladder. So they really, really, really utilized the ladder, which was great. Then we had Shotzi Blackheart climb the post, and Indi Hartwell's laying on the commentary table, and Shotzi ends up doing a splash onto her. That was another really good moment. Indi also does an elbow drop on Ember while she's on the table on the outside of the ring. That was another awesome spot, especially because the way that the camera had it, I was paying attention to what was in the ring that I didn't even realize that Indi was even on the top rope. So that kind of tripped me out a little bit, but it was still pretty awesome. And then afterwards, Candice LaRae did the Wicked Stepsister on Shotzi for the win, and they became new NXT Tag Team Champions. So I kind of went through like everything that they did in this match, but like the last portions especially. But seriously, if you did not watch this match and you're like just listening to the review, I would seriously go out of my way to watch this match. And if you're going to do that with any match here, the matches to do so are the opening match with Leon Ruff and Isiah Swerve Scott, and the main event with Shotzi, Ember, Indi, and Candice, because those were probably the best matches. Oh, and that tag team match too. I would watch those 3 matches there. But we have a comment here from Super Chat. Excuse me. Thank you so much to Matthew, who says, just want to say hi real quick. See you tomorrow for Blood and Guts. You're awesome. Thank you so much for sending in a Super Chat. Thank you. And I will be here for Blood and Guts tomorrow, guys. I'm so stoked. Like, seriously, come into the podcast because I feel like things are going to get crazy. I feel like I'm going to come on here. I don't even know what the hell is going to happen. So it might be just like crazy as hell. I don't know. I'm super excited. So make sure you guys get in here for that. And let's see what else. We have another super chat from Brandon who says, so what is NXT doing with Frankie Monet? Anyway, is she just going to be a comedy character, or will we see her in a feud soon? Well, Brandon, if you remember when she debuted, she cut off Raquel as she was doing her post-match, her post-NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver speech promo celebration after winning the NXT Women's Championship. And then Frankie Monet comes out. So Frankie Monet and her have this back and forth, right? But then afterwards, we had the whole celebration with Bianca and Rhea Ripley, and it kind of overshadowed the whole thing with Frankie Monet and Raquel. But I thought that they were going to go in the direction of bringing Frankie Monet and having her go straight up against Raquel. And I thought, well, if you're going to do that with anybody, it would probably be Frankie Monet. So I thought that was a direction that they were going in. But then they went back and circled back to Raquel versus Mercedes Martinez, which I wasn't expecting. So I don't know. Right now, it kind of feels like at this point, she should have been like already in action doing stuff. But right now, she's sort of just, in the back, being the bougiest, baddest version of herself. But I do think we need to see her in action. People need to see what kind of an explosive wrestler she is, because she really is very explosive, very dynamic in the ring. So we need to see that. We need to see it. Right now, we haven't seen that. We need to see it. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino. Thank you so much. He says, God, I love this match. Finally, Candice, his favorite, with someone gold. And this was the best Indi has looked. She went to the top rope, to the elbow drop so smoothly. I agree. This was the best Indi Hartwell has looked. And it was about time that they won, because at this point, they had just been, it was too much already. They had to win already. They really, really had to do something with them. And I just feel like they need to add more to the NXT Women's Tag Team division, because right now it does feel very repetitive. And I'm guessing we're probably going to get a rematch. Who the hell knows? But yeah, I'm glad that they won some gold, especially Candice. Candice has been trying to get some gold on her for a bit. But thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in this awesome super chat. And I think that's pretty much about it, guys. All right, so we're going to wrap up this show, but guys, please make sure to come in tomorrow for AEW Blood and Guts. I will tell you this much. It's going to be an explosive show, and I, for one, cannot wait to talk about it. Also, before I go, please do not forget to give this video a like and leave a comment, guys. It really helps drive up the analytics and, gets YouTube to promote this video to more audiences, to get more people watching this show. So if you guys want to help me spread the word about this show, give this video a like, leave a comment. If you're watching on the audio, you can always just spread the word on any of your favorite social media platforms. It really does help out the show, helps me out, and all of that stuff. And then also, I am still trying to get to 20K on Twitter. If you haven't followed me already, follow me on Twitter at _ Denise Salcedo. I'm about to hit 19K. My goal was 20K by the time it's my birthday. I literally have like 15 days till my birthday to get like 1,000 followers. I don't think it's going to happen, but I might as well keep trying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys tomorrow and then on Wednesday. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. Love you.